So if I understand correctly, because again I didn't watch Miss Marvel, she's getting them from the bands, right? That she got in the mail per se. Are they referring those as nega bands, or are these just bands? Like, does anybody know that?
They haven't called them. They've called them. They haven't called them nega bands yet.
Okay.
Can I just
we're alluding to it, that's what they are.
That's what they are, which was what the OG Captain Marvel originally
which
had.
Which is why I'm like, okay, it's even more aggravating having now understood that.
I don't know if this makes a difference, but I thought it was really cringe in the show. Maybe it's less or more, depending on you guys what you think. But episode like 2 or 3 of Miss Marvel, they scan her, and her friend says the power isn't coming from the bangles; it comes from you. The bangles just awoke the superhero within you.
So she's always been a nigga.
I have.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! No.
Not the arc we were expecting, but the arc we needed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin.
Hello there, and welcome to the True Pop Culture 7 show. I'm your host, True Pop, here to laugh and think about pop culture stupidity. And what's this? I have more than one guest this time. Yes, because Deadpool and Wolverine was a movie I was really looking forward to this year, and sorry to say, it was kind of disappointing. And don't be fooled by this hat. I'm not actually a big Deadpool fan. Pretty sure I got this specific hat from the family, and they probably thought it was Spider-Man. So.
You're a phony.
Oh my god, you tricked me. You tricked me.
Bear in mind, like I primarily watched this movie for Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, not necessarily Deadpool. But hey, you know, it's easy mistake to make. You know, white eyes, red stuff. You know, it looks like Spider-Man basically. Anyway, I guess we'll get on with the introductions, starting from Jon to Metal. Jon, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell the people who you are.
John Graham on YouTube of R being the Chief Machinima fame. I make stuff with Halo and action figures. Still, that's what I do.
Hey, there's no shame in it, all right? You still do it, so, you know, not completely pointless.
Not a total loser.
Exactly. Metal.
Yes, hello, it's me. I'm back again with more stuff and films to talk about. You know, just do The Forge on the Metalcommander channel over there with Mark as a co-host, and just play video games on stream as well. You know, just being a big dumbass.
Yep.
Embarrass myself online constantly.
That's what we do here on YouTube, embarrass ourselves constantly. You're probably really ecstatic to talk about this movie again.
But I assume it's not going to be the last time.
Yeah,
yeah, probably.
I won't be surprised if I get dragged into the EFAP mines for this one as well.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing
what do you think is like? I guess the general consensus is people like it.
Oh, people love this movie.
It's a crowd pleaser.
It's a crowd pleaser, exactly. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it on the Forge yesterday. It's like I had fun in the cinema when I watched it, and then I got out, and it was just on my bicycle on my way home. It's like, oh, no, no, that's.
And then you thought about it.
Yep. Atmosphere was great in the cinema. Everyone was laughing, having a good time. And even then, I was like, this is like something. It's like a and then movie. Like thing happens, then we go there, and then we go there, and then we coincidentally have this happening, so we can go to the next thing. As just, and then I did a rewatch, took notes, and it was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's what happens. Like going into this, I knew it was going to be messy, especially with the TV, but it's just like, all right, give me some good character stuff, and I'll be happy. Kind of like with, I think it's like the perfect point of comparison. No Way Home. You know, it's using returning characters, fan favorite characters. Everyone's going to see them, and they were used like really, really well. Despite, you know, the Doctor Strange problems, the multiverse shenanigans, it's kind of, these problems are forgivable because, you know, the characters are so engaging, and to be honest, written well. Andrew has another arc with Gwen. What was the arc with this necessarily? They don't do too much with Wolverine and Deadpool is I think my main complaint.
Well, the thing they do in this movie is they heavily rely on your meta knowledge. Like, hey, you see, there's the spoilers, obviously, like they happen here today. In case you are not aware, the whole scene with like X-23 and Logan is like, okay, yeah, we know they interacted as the actors on set on Logan, but these two don't know each other. Like the big emotional scene, well acted, great actors. It's not built on anything. These two don't know each other. I don't buy for a second that Wolverine would even open up to her because he said, "You have a good man. You just don't know it yet." It's like, oh yeah, let me just tell you my sad story. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was also a little bit like, this is a different Wolverine from a different universe. Why should we care? They didn't really give us a big, because it's Hugh Jackman Wolverine. You know, it's something you but no, we kind of, because of how multiverses work, this is a completely different person. So you're still gonna have to do the legwork of actually making us connect with him. Just because it's a recognizable face doesn't mean it's the same person. To be honest, I don't know if Logan is the same person as the one who was like in X-Men Days of the Future Past, or in X-Men. Is that the same person, or is Logan a separate?
Yeah,
I don't know.
So that's the problem with the whole multiverse things again, right? Because you have you have X-Men Origin, where Deadpool basically kills the Deadpool there at the end of Deadpool 2 in the after credit scene. So that Wolverine is in that universe, which is not the universe our Deadpool is from, but that's the Logan we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a whole mess.
Yeah. You know, it's stupid. Before we get further on, I'd like to say hi to the chat, just for a quick minute. Ailey, but I'm not gonna pronounce that. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Good regular, yeah.
CMC Advanced, welcome to the Must See channel with Mr. Must See. Thanks, man.
Hello.
Jermaine Bad.
That's for me.
He speaks the truth. More complaints about German men. Wow.
Well, you can tell where those guys are coming from.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is the Suicide Squad garbage plot, but the characters are pretty good. Just oh god, all the plot point is absolutely garbage. Yeah, do you mean the okay, so that's James Gunn's?
Yes.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Suicide Squad. Yeah,
It's the Suicide Squad, and the first one is Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Okay, that's not.
I do love naming conventions. They're great.
Hello, Mutual Germans. Me too. Stop getting mad at the Deadpool shits on the Loki show. Okay.
Yeah, Loki is my favorite show ever. It's so well written. It's fantastic. I love it.
Imagine just looking at that show and saying, "How about we use these characters? They made perfect sense in that show."
Loki is a tree during Deadpool and Wolverine. I just want to put that out there. You can make of that what you will, because I don't know what that means. But
right. The thing about that, there's like some Norse mythology where Loki gets like imprisoned in it. It's not like it's. I'm not sure if Odin trapped him there or something like that. But yeah, it was like torturous. I'm pretty sure there was like a snake in there that constantly sprayed venom into his eyes.
That's a very
it
sucks.
It wasn't like something that he'd volunteered to. He was imprisoned in like this. I forget what was the name of the tree. But yeah, I don't know my Norse mythology all that well. Sorry, guys.
I don't know it out of my head as well. That's fine.
It's funny that they kind of use that and just like, yeah, he's a tree now.
Mm-hmm. What does it mean? It's like, oh. But he has a throne now, but it's ironic because he can't actually do anything with it or something.
Did you watch Loki season 2? Does anyone?
We did the whole EFAB movies on it.
I stopped in season 1 when I saw the drawer full of Infinity Stones. I was like, "Fuck you!" And
oh god, yeah, that was awkward. But yeah, wait, it's not EFAB movies, EFAB TV. I don't know what they name the things anymore.
Wow. Since when was Fat Body Positivity Cop made the leader of the TVA? I kind of
sometime during season 2.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It's funny because they do the whole thing. It's like, we're not evil anymore, and we don't do things the same. But she just keeps B-15 as a name and not like a normal name. It's like, okay,
huh?
It's just funny because she was security. Now she's just in charge. It's like,
what happened to Owen Wilson? I like that guy.
He's going jet skiing or something. I don't know.
Oh.
To be honest, I forgot what happened to him in the show. I memory hold that thing.
Well. Listen, I'd prefer Owen Wilson. You know?
I mean, yeah.
Anyone would. It's more commercially viable as well.
Did he get killed off in the first season, or did they just not recast him?
No, he wasn't season 2.
Oh, he was?
Oh, okay. Season 2. Yeah. I just can't remember what he did. I think he went back home or to some home with real life or something. Maybe someone in chat remembers. I don't.
I must go. My planet needs me.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right.
Fucking TVA, dude.
Yeah, we'll get into it, but I suppose before we get into that, there's been a very big piece of news that I suppose I could not just ignore it. You know, this live stream was intentionally supposed to be just about Deadpool and Wolverine, but this is just surprising to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is Robert Downey Jr. returning as Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom.
The whole world soy-faced in unison.
I think it has like the most views on YouTube or something.
I think Instagram maybe as well.
Or Instagram or something. Yeah, it's like tons of views and stuff. Like people are very excited, and I do get it. Like Robert Downey Jr. is awesome. But man, does that wreak desperation to me? Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yes. I do find it desperate, but that doesn't factor into my looking forward to it, honestly. Because, I mean, I'm honestly, like, I think Robert Downey Jr. was given a massive sum of money to do this, but I'm still not convinced that he's doing this entirely for that money. I'm sure that's a big part of it, but I think he just, you know, you say, you know, you work your ass off and you say, you know, oh, fuck it, I'm retired now. And then you're at home sitting on your hands and you're just thinking, you know, I have an opportunity here to play another complex character and be in the spotlight again, where like I have people cheering for me. And I think the dude actually likes acting. So, and I think he would do a really good job at this. And they got Stephen McFeely back writing it, who was one of the writers on Infinity War and Endgame, I think, as well. They got the Russos back. I'm not a fan of the Russo brothers non-Marvel films that I've seen so far, but I think they did a really good job on Infinity War. I mean, Endgame, people are kind of divided on that, but I liked it. I thought they did a good job directing it, and it's cool to see them back for this. So I have some hope for this project. I'm honestly kind of looking forward to it personally.
I'm curious. I'm definitely curious because I definitely agree with you, John, that he'll probably knock it out of the park. You know, he won an Oscar and he's like, what do I do now? Well, I could use a butt ton of money as well. And
yeah,
Marvel probably called him like, hey, do you want to come back? Not really. You know, the way I left, we kind of, you know.
But look at all these zeros.
And you can play a different character. Yeah. It's a new challenge. And the thing is, I really hope they'll probably do this. That it's not a variance of Tony Stark. I just hope it's just Victor Von Doom, and keeps that mask on. But obviously,
yeah, that's what I was wondering if they do a variant. It's like, oh god, is that Tony Stark? Like, no, he just looks like him. But no, I don't know a lot about Dr.Doom, but I'm pretty sure he just always has his mask on. I don't think I've ever seen him without the mask. So I think it would be weird if they do that way. So maybe it's just going to be the voice actor. Even I don't even know if he's going to have to be on set necessarily.
Yep. Oh, we've got a late guest.
Hey, man.
Oh my god, late.
What's the old Gandalf quote?
Was it never late nor early, dude? I'm always on time. Yeah.
Hey, glad you could join.
Dude, it's my pleasure, man. Apologies for being late again. I had to go pick up my car.
No worries, man. No worries. I'm just glad you're here. We're just discussing the Doom casting and
oh yes, RTJ.
Oh, yep. A little background on Doom. Doom is probably, if not the most notable, probably the best Marvel villain overall. Like personally, I think he's leagues above your Thanos, your Loki, your anything really. Thanos was always a cosmic guy who was simping for death.
Right.
It was always a little unknown. I remember back in the Avengers Joss Whedon movie when he was revealed in the post-credit scenes, no one really knew who Thanos was. But I think everyone has some sort of awareness of who Doom is. Oh, it's the Fantastic Four villain. Oh, it's you know.
Yeah, it's interesting because Thanos entered the big main cultural zeitgeist because of all the Avengers and because of the MCU in general. But Doom has always been there. Even me as a kid, I wasn't that much into comic book stuff, but I knew Doom before even watching the first Fantastic Four movie, the one like the 2005 one.
Yep. Fun fact: George Lucas was inspired by Dr. Doom when designing Darth Vader.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's Doom's got definitely a big pop culture footprint. Let's say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very recognizable entity, just with the green and the mask and everything. Like you've seen him for sure before. I don't know anything about him, but see what the MCU does with it, I guess.
Yeah, MCU-ify him. He'll probably just be a quipping villain. That'll be it. That'll be Doom.
Why couldn't they get a Romani or Eastern European man to play him? I don't mind that, to be honest. Like, RDJ, he's American, right?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can easily pull it off. I don't think it needs to be a Romani or Eastern European actor. You can. If they're good enough, they'll pull it off.
Someone was saying, because I was discussing about this at work, and one of my colleagues was saying Cillian Murphy should have been cast as Doom because he can play the nice scientist role if they ever decide to, give him, show him before he gets the Doom stuff or anything like that. But he can also play the very stern and seriousness that requires Doom to have. And I just think that it's a shame to cast RDJ. I mean, I guess the RDJ is a good actor, but how well of an actor will he be given the script that he's given, or being under a mask? Will he just start acting like Tony Stark again, or are we actually going to see a proper contrast?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would like to. Like, don't do an evil Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect Robert Downey Jr. would come at this trying not to do Tony Stark again. Like, I think he's smart enough to do that. And I don't think... I mean, there's definitely an argument to be made for giving another actor a shot at the role, and instead of just, like, digging up Robert Downey again.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, the guy from Iron Man, look. I mean, I totally understand, like, the reeks of desperation argument. But, you know, he can do accents and stuff. Like, actors do that kind of stuff all the time. Like, I think he can play, like, a Romani guy. And I don't think they'll make him a Tony Stark variant. I would actually be surprised if they do that. And it would be really dumb if they did that. Because Victor Von Doom is such a cool character. To like his upbringing, the fact that he's trained in magic and he's like a scientific genius, it would be such a shame to throw all that away in favor of having it so, like, what does a Tony Stark variant even mean? Like, he was born to the Stark parents, but then just like went in a different direction when he was in college or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I think they will keep him as Victor Von Doom, and I don't see any evidence that they'll make him a Tony Stark variant, other than the fact that it's just Robert Downey Jr. doing the role again. That seems to be the only thing suggesting that they might go in that direction. But I don't think the chances are that they will do that. It would be fucking dumb if they do. They might.
I agree with you. I don't actually think. I don't think that they would do it, man. I'm with you on that. I don't think that they have the. I just don't think that they're kind of prepared to do it on one side, because they know that it'll be completely reeking of desperation. But on the other side, they are actually desperate. So that's the big issue.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, a lot of people are slamming them for saying, oh, look, they're just so desperate. And it's like, yeah, of course they are. They've been fucking up. But, like, of course they're going to try and course correct, you know?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't blame them for trying to, like, do something that's going to make people happy.
Yeah, they've tried to course correct with already bringing the Russos back was a big course correction, because I guess the Russos themselves, they were kind of outed from Marvel, and then even when they were out of Marvel,
they even criticized them multiple times. Yeah,
exactly. They were kind of criticizing Marvel and their way of doing things. So to have the Russo bros back already, I think it's a huge sign to people who are watching that, all right, we're trying to get to the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame levels, where we're trying to make the Avengers movies actual events now. Because I mean, let's face it, the next Avengers movie, they say it's in 2 years. What have they actually built up to for you to be looking forward to it, except for maybe making a YouTube video from it, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, there's no Avengers I care about. I guess Hulk is technically still around, but he still hasn't gotten his own movie.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
We got
They
Hawkeye,
did say,
I guess. He had kind of a show, but I mean, I guess they did movies of the other ones where, like, those are going to be Avengers. Like, yeah, but they all suck ass. I don't want to see those as the Avengers.
Metal, but they said that there'll be Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four in both of these Avengers movies.
Oh,
yeah.
When are those movies coming out?
Yeah.
How weird was it going to be when we get the Avengers movie and it's like, look, the Fantastic Four, they're the Avengers now. It's like, what?
Yeah. I mean, maybe ditch the Avengers, just Secret Wars, maybe at that point.
Like, what did they say that they were doing first? They were doing Doomsday and then Secret Wars, or
2026 Doomsday and 2027 Secret Wars. Yeah, it feels like Infinity War and Endgame again, and I'm guessing Doomsday is going to focus on Doom, kind of like, you know, Infinity War did focus on Thanos. So maybe that will be good, and then the other movie will be absolute garbage, knowing the Russo brothers. But who knows?
Well, I mean,
are they only directing, or are they also writing?
I'm not sure.
I think John said one of the writers is coming back, but I'm not sure. I know
they got
one
Stephen
thing.
McFeely writing, who was a co-writer on Infinity War and Endgame,
Yeah.
and I think he might be
Okay.
writing these two movies solo. They might give him a writing partner later on, and it's the Russo brothers solely directing.
If that's the case, I'm happy about it because that means that stupid Loki writer, what's his name? Can't remember.
Michael Waldron.
Michael Waldron, yes, he's out. He was supposed
Thank
to write
God
Kang
he's out.
Dynasty.
Oh, yeah, like speaking of the MCU, Kang, what the fuck happened with him?
Who's Kang? I don't know what you're talking about. He got beaten by Ant-Man.
Yeah, he got beaten by Ant-Man.
Look directly
Actually,
into the
no.
light.
He got beaten by ants, by space ants.
Yep.
That went into a time vortex and evolved for that. That's not
giant smart space ants, dude. That's how they killed Kang. Then we had
ants.
dude, and plus the worst part is that he had the scene where you see like 1,000 Kang variants in the arena. It's like, yep, all of that just nowhere, swept under the rug. No one gives a
Doesn't
shit
mean
about it
anything.
anymore. Yep.
I just want to cover this super chat. Mauricio Gianton, maybe I butchered that. Hi all, RDJ coming back. IMO, I love him, but man, and OMG, it's the Metalcommander. Love you on EPUB. I wish you had your own channel though. Oh.
Yeah, I should start my own channel. That would be a good idea.
Yeah. You might find a link down in the description below. Check it out.
Wait, I have a channel already? Yo.
But yeah. Does it reek of desperation? Yes. Am I interested again in MCU? Sure. I'll check out Doomsday. You know?
Yeah, I'll bite. You know, that's the thing,
yeah.
too. And you also have to wonder, are they just expecting the bite? Because let's face it, the bite is kind of huge because these guys make about, let's say, 80% of their total box office run from opening weekends alone. Just look at Multiverse of Madness. That, I think, made 700 million or something like that just from the opening weekend. Endgame made 1.22 billion on opening weekend worldwide, which is crazy. And so if they have enough interest, I'm sure that they can probably get a big amount opening weekend. Then once the word of mouth and once everyone's, videos has come through and everything is there, they're probably not going to make any money for the next 3 weeks. It's going to go directly on Disney Plus, and that's pretty much it. So I don't know what their strategy is. They're clearly trying to win back the fans, but it's so weird how they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yep. I just thought about this. We're probably not going to get We might get them in Secret Wars, but
X-Men?
yeah, I don't think we're getting them before Avengers.
They'll probably do
weird.
something in the Fantastic Four with the X-Men for sure. Because, yeah, maybe.
I mean, they teased it in the Marvels. Sorry, I completely blanked on what it's called. But I don't think they'll have the. It's weird to think about that. It's like the 5th or 6th Avengers movie, and we still don't have X-Men.
Yeah, and they still haven't really properly established X-Men in the MCU at all. They tried to do it with. They said that Deadpool and Wolverine was going to do that, but Deadpool and Wolverine took place in the entirety of like Limbo, so that had no consequences whatsoever on the MCU. So it's kind of weird, really, really weird.
Yep.
Someone in the chat said, "You guys are excited for Agatha." Dude,
I saw the
I don't
trailer.
even know what that is. Sorry, go ahead.
Agatha all along. You haven't heard of the masterful name change?
I haven't heard of Agatha all along.
It's the villain from the Scarlet Witch show, WandaVision.
The only thing I remember about it is the changing titles, and at one point the title was a sort of parody of The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, Chronicles of Narnia, and it was like it's so dumb. I was like, is this a joke? Apparently it wasn't. And I guess they were being made fun of so much on the internet.
Yeah.
That was why they ultimately changed it.
Dude, you know what I even forgot about? I forgot that they're still making that Ironheart show or that Ironheart movie. Yeah, the show. Man, they have a lot of stuff in the pipeline. I mean, eventually, when are they gonna just do tax write-offs the same way DC did it for their stuff? Because I guess you're trying to reboot, maybe soft reboot. I generally do think that if they're going forward, they're probably gonna do like a nice soft reboot with both Avengers movies, if they're well written.
See, that would be smart.
Yeah, you bring
You
in
really
Doom,
should just do a
reboot
reset.
it.
There's
Mhm.
so many mechanics in this universe. It's not even fun to think about. It's just every time a movie comes out, it's like, oh, what about this mechanic that you introduced 7 movies ago? It's like, we didn't watch those.
Oh yeah, that giant celestial in the middle of the earth. It's made out of adamantium, by the way.
Dude, they're finally addressing it in
Yeah.
in the whatever Brave New World. I don't know what the fuck that movie is called. We keep changing.
That's one
the
that's gonna be awful. That's been rewritten
World,
and
I think.
reshot like 700 times too.
Mhm.
Super expensive. It's not gonna make its money back. No chance. It's probably gonna. I assume it's gonna do a little bit better because they're probably gonna have a bit of momentum from Deadpool.
Yep.
Because people are really enjoying that movie. But I don't think it's gonna go well.
I'm curious to see how Harrison Ford looks on a Hulk body. Like I physically can't picture that
That's a good point.
at all.
I'm
That's
so
gonna be
wondering if
fun.
their CGI is going to be any good, man. Because Marvel's CGI has just been tanking recently. It's crazy how bad their stuff looks. At least Deadpool and Wolverine looked good. Except that it has I don't know, it's something very specific to Deadpool. Their CG doubles look really CG, but that's been since the first Deadpool movie. So there's some points in the movie where you're like, oh, this is clearly like a weirdly CG double. But then you look at something like Black Widow and you just think, oh my God, this is like horrendous.
It's all really stupid. But anyway, wrapping up the Avengers debacle, I guess I'm seeing Doomsday just because I want to see, well, hopefully a good Doom. Not a variant, not a multiverse shenanigan, just a good, grounded Doom. That's I don't think that's a lot to ask. And I think Doom should be hype even if you cast a normal actor, but you know what? RDJ will probably act well with it, whatever material he gets. But again, they don't have any good Avengers in it, so I suppose I'm just seeing it for Doom. And that's it. And that's, you know, I hope they can generate more hype. I wish them the best, but it's definitely not looking like it.
One of the reasons I'm looking forward to the movies is because it reminds me of the last season of Spider-Man, the animated series, where like Spider-Man, he meets Madame Web and the Beyonder, and he gets thrown into like something of a void. I don't know if it's the void, the same as like the Deadpool and Wolverine thing, but it's like it's sort of like this chess match where he gets to pick a team, and he picks like Captain America and Iron Man, and they meet Dr.Doom and stuff, and it all sort of culminates in a battle between Red Skull and Captain America, and then it goes into this weird multiverse thing. It was actually a pretty awesome season of cartoon television.
That's Secret Wars.
The movies are kind of like that. Like, I like that.
Yeah. The Secret Wars is basically like a playground of all your favorite heroes. So it's gonna be like Deadpool and Wolverine just times 10. Secret Wars. I don't know how that's gonna go. But anyway, let's discuss Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay, as I said at the beginning of the show, oh no, Metal is covering your face.
It's fine. People have seen my face more than enough.
I mean, uninspired. You don't have a face, so
You don't have a face, damn.
I'm just a cat.
I get this was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and Joker as well. And you know, I went into it, you know, ready to have some fun. To be honest, the movie didn't make me laugh as much as the movie wanted to. You know, there were some jokes that just didn't really land for me. Like they were trying really hard, but it's just like it's kind of the more subtle jokes that got them to me. And you know, all these cameos, all these shenanigans going on throughout it. It's fun on the first watch through. I can't lie. But yeah, as Metal said, when you're just on your way back home, thinking slowly about it, it's just like, hang on, what's this and this about? What's this and this about? So I gotta say, I'm a bit disappointed. That might be a controversial take, but you know.
No, I actually agree. I found like I had a similar experience. A lot of the jokes weren't landing for me. I found a lot of like the sex jokes just mostly cringe, but not because I was grossed out. It was more like because it came off as so juvenile. It's like telling your kid like they can swear for 24 hours, like you can say whatever you want.
Yeah,
and then they just take it like way too far, and you're just like, okay, cool.
Especially the Human Torch.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That after credits rant, I was just this is just it's too much and too.
You're trying too hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like it was just, I don't know, if you had something like kind of kid friendly and then you swore once and that was just like, oh, he dropped an F-bomb, you know, and that swear was kind of effective. When you swear for like 5 minutes straight, it loses its potency. And I feel like that's what that joke did. It was just like, okay, we get a joke. You're swearing a lot at her. Haha.
I did funny. Like the essence of that after credits joke where the reveal that Chris Evans actually did say that when the movie implied that he didn't. Like that, I thought that was funny, but then just all this just gratuitous swearing piled on top of that, I was just like,
Yeah, that was kind of like a weird like fourth wall break just for the audience to say, oh, look, we're finally seeing the dude that plays Captain America swearing as much as he can. Isn't this cool? That was basically the gist of it. But man, I quite enjoyed the movie, man. I had a good cinema experience, but I started thinking about the movie during the movie, and then I was like, fuck. My enjoyment is kind of going down right now. Let me just try and enjoy the experience, and then I'll think about it when I get home. And once I left the theater, I was like, man, this doesn't make sense whatsoever. Nothing makes sense. And when you keep thinking about it even more, you think, hey, you know, even if the plot didn't make sense, did the character arcs make sense? Did the redemption arc make sense? Not really. It wasn't well done. So you're kind of left with no rewatch value. And it's even worse than Endgame, because I know a lot of people have been comparing it to Endgame, where it's a nice high in the theater. Then you're trying to rewatch it at home. It's kind of all right, let's just skip to the best moments. Except that in Endgame, you do have some very poignant character moments. That's the good thing. Here, you don't really. You have a semblance of that. They try to. They set up stuff, but they don't explore what they need to explore for it to be a proper arc for the audience.
Yeah, I think the best quality moment I would say would be near the end when they're deciding who sacrifices himself, Deadpool or Wolverine. I think that was a good scene, and I wish we had more of that throughout the fucking movie.
Yeah, that's the thing in general. There's like things that like in isolation, the way they execute it. Because surprisingly enough, they have like like one or two emotional scenes where you expect Deadpool to show up and go like herky jerky or something. I don't know, and because this is a movie where you expect this to happen, right? But for some reason in this movie, they just let the emotional scene actually just play out, and then they go to the next scene, which was like, oh, that's surprising. I wish this would matter more, because these two people, they don't actually know each other, so I don't care that they have their emotional scene with each other now, because it's built on nothing. It's just empty.
Exactly, dude. It's like the and even they gloss over some really important stuff. Like me, for example, I thought that some of the most poignant scenes were, as Troopop said, you know, when Deadpool actually decides to try and sacrifice himself. And I was like, oh, this is actually not what I was expecting, because the entire movie for me was kind of predictable apart from the cameos, but the way that it would go was predictable up until this very moment, because you're thinking, hey, I know that Hugh Jackman isn't going to play Wolverine for the next like 50 years more, so they're probably going to kill him off now. And then to see the switch with Deadpool, you're like, oh, so are they actually going to kill Deadpool off in this one and just cap off his trilogy this way? So that was a nice that was a nice one. And then the reason why Wolverine wears his suit as well, I thought that was a nice poignant scene with a good monologue by Hugh Jackman.
For some reason they CGI'd the cowl on, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, people wear it in like freaking Disney World, like actors. Like, it looks fine there. Why on earth would you CGI it? And maybe they didn't want to spoil it when they were filming it.
Well,
Seems
it's
stupid, though.
weird because we've had good suits as CGI. Look at Endgame. Endgame, all the time suits were entirely CGI, and I didn't even realize that until I was told. So it's so weird to see how it's just gone kind of to shit, especially in the bus fight with there you could tell there was CG body doubles everywhere.
Yeah,
it was nauseating at times. I was like, oh man, this is
that
kind of
that,
this
that
is
end
cool,
shot
but-
when they jump through the bus, and then you have like this NPC idle animation Wolverine next to Deadpool. Jesus Christ, that looks so fucking bad.
Yeah.
That's so bad, dude.
I think the most glaring problem that I like, something that stood out to me like a sore thumb, is other villains. They're really, really average. I don't think Paradox should have been it. What is it? Because he's British? Is that why he has to be the villain? I suppose
That was
Maybe.
part of it. Yeah.
Professor
Yeah,
X's
I
sister.
guess that's like a bit of a joke as well. It's like, look, it's an evil British man with a British evil voice. It's like, okay, I get it. But then you have like also Cassandra Nova, which all of a sudden is like, you know what? I'm going to destroy all of the universe because he tricked me, that Paradox man.
I was just redeemed, and now I'm gonna destroy the whole world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, none of the villains' motivations make sense. Even the worst part is that I even forget the British dude's name. What
Paradox.
Yeah, Paradox. Paradox. The thing is that they kind of set up all his stuff. They even set up the MacGuffin at the beginning of the movie, and it is not mentioned again until the very, very, very end. And you're like, oh man, I even forgot that this weird timeline ending
time
machine.
ripper.
Yeah,
You know what else I forgot? The little grenades that are this big that just do the same job in like one button. It's like click, bro.
Done.
I guess they got rid of all of those since Loki season 1 or 2.
I thought, okay, one more thing about the villain and the final act. How does her healing factor? I don't know if she has it. That's never specified. Does she have a healing
Cassandra's healing thingy?
Healing.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently she can just do anything. Like, from what I understand, she has like the super duper psychic powers that can do anything, distort reality. She's like one of these. Someone yesterday on the forge was like, it's called like an Omega level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that
Omega
you,
level
John?
mutants.
It might have been
Yeah.
you, actually. Okay.
Omega level mutants. Yeah.
Yeah, those are like super powerful, and she's like a twin of Xavier, but she gets like all the destructive powers apparently. But
Oh.
I feel
Kinda
like she's
like
like one of
Luthor.
those mutants that can just do anything.
Right,
It's
but like mechanically, like she was stabbed with Wolverine's claws.
Mm.
Did she like stop the blood flow with telekinesis, or did she re-heal?
I don't know.
Probably
That's something I was
regenerative
confused by.
powers. It's probably something
Right.
regenerative like Wolverine at that point.
That's okay. So my next point, if she's regenerating, how convenient is it that we're dealing with like a time ripper bomb that can disintegrate you whole? And it just so happens that all our three villain and heroes have a highly regenerative ability to come back from anything. But these specific machines disintegrate all of them. I thought that was convenient. They could have. I thought
And the matter and antimatter cables are spread apart just enough for the two of them to fucking smash and hold hands.
Oh yeah,
The power of friendship, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
You know, I to be honest, I was more engaged with the Deadpool army and them fighting, because it was at the point where they realized, like, hang on, we're not gonna win this fight. They're gonna keep re-healing. I thought that was a kind of a more fun battle rather than holding cables and a loading bar. There seems to just be more difficulty in the Deadpools rather than the antimatter stuff.
Yeah, they have to get rid of them really quickly, so they just make up that, hey, it's Peter. He's a legend in every timeline, so we're just gonna ignore you now and gonna hang out with Peter because he's so awesome and cool.
Yeah, and that's one of my biggest issues with the movie is that it has barely any stakes. I genuinely don't think that it has stakes. Like you'd never really feel like your characters are in proper danger. Even at the very end, I was like, all right, cool. At least maybe they've died because they established the matter antimatter thing, and then no, they just walk out and like, yep, that's pretty much it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, I guess.
Yes, even in movies where the multiverse and time travel thing is done at least somewhat well, the sense of consequence is thrown out the window because you're always thinking in the back of your mind, whatever character dies, they're going to pull something out of their ass to bring them back if they want. So it's hard to really get invested.
They even brought back Gambit, Blade, Elektra, and Logan Girl because Deadpool asked nicely at the end to have them. So all that fighting at the skull, all that dramatic last hurrah. Oh, don't worry, they're resurrected.
Well, like speaking of the cameos make no sense whatsoever. Because why would they be in the, I guess, purgatory or the limbo place that they are? Why would these guys from our movies, like from our Elektra, from our Blade trilogy, what the fuck would they have done with time travel? Where would they even get time travel stuff so that the TVA would come and attack them? And
well, the thing, see, that's a stupid shit with the TVA, because maybe Blade had like 3 eggs instead of 2 the morning, and it's like, oh, you just destroyed the timeline. We're gonna prune it now, and you going to the void. It's like, I mean, they fucking pruned this one fucker in the beginning of Loki season 1 because he was like, I want to do this, and they go like, okay, into the void with you. It's like, oh, why did you even bring him here if you don't actually care?
Right.
Show sucks, by the way.
One more problem: there's no evidence that suggests that Blade and the X-Men were in the same continuity. Like they're all under the Fox banner, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
the Fox
it just counts as Fox. Yeah.
The Fox movies were never supposed to be like a universal together thing.
Yeah, it's just the X-Men.
Unless they wanted to be like, oh, that would be cool if we crossed these two together, and then they might have done it. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, but they just put them in here because they wanted to
the TVA kidnapped them.
Yeah, so they probably took a wrong turn this morning. No, they don't tell you why.
They approached him like Deadpool, like, oh, do you want to go to another universe? And they said no.
Yeah, but Deadpool, there's kind of a reason, because at the end of the second movie, the entire post-credit scene is him fucking up timelines. So at least there, I can say...
I'm pretty sure Paradox said, oh, this has nothing to do
with this. They shit on their whole world building the whole time.
That's true.
Because as it's introduced in Loki, is that, oh, you can do like something wrong and you don't even know what it is because that's it, and then it's like, okay, well, you're gonna get out of there now. And then they take you in for some reason, and
the
then
TVA doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it's awful.
I hope that the TVA just gets written out of Marvel in general. Just pretend that they never existed.
I wish they would have done it with Deadpool. It just blows up the TVA or something.
I hate that the TVA is so fundamental to everything, the entire universe, and it's so fucking stupid. Like, it just undermines everything that branches off of it.
Yeah, it's so it's so stupid the way that the TVA acts. It's like, I don't even understand. Like, I would understand why the Marvel would want, I guess, some sort of timekeeping entity or something like that. But I mean, just go to the Watchers. You know, you've already established the Watchers. Stan Lee made a cameo as one of them. Just stick to that. You don't need a proper place in suits and stuff like that to completely just make jokes and nerf everything and fuck up the entire timeline.
Yep. Yeah. And, you know, the Watcher has a famous motto that his job is to watch, never to interfere. Yeah. Even though he breaks that rule multiple times during the whole Galactus fiasco.
Yeah, the What If stuff.
Yeah. They didn't use him properly in What If, to be honest. Like, Watcher's a cool character. It's a shame. Do you guys think this movie shitted on Logan? like tainted its legacy. I guess that's what some people are saying.
Overall, I think it was respectful enough to it. At the very beginning, I was nervous, like because the opening shot is him digging up his grave, and I was sort of ambivalent about it. Like I felt sort of like I don't know if this is the right thing, but I also found it amusing in a morbid way. Where it's just like, okay, we're really steering into this, aren't we? You know,
it does seem like something Deadpool would do. You know, dig up
that's
someone's
the thing.
grave. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like, it's like, well, it is Deadpool. It's a Deadpool movie. I guess I get it.
No,
And I think
agree.
Ryan Reynolds went into this knowing how great Logan was, and probably part of the pitch was just like, we're gonna like make fun of how cool Logan was, and we're sort of gonna play around with that here in a very tongue-in-cheek way, but at the same time there's going to be stuff throughout the movie that sort of reinforces that the quality of that ending and preserve it in a way. I found that satisfactory.
There's something Mauler pointed out in the open bar that kind of stuck with me. I can't, like, Deadpool has a time travel device on him. He could just go like 5 months ago.
Well, not
to the same
anymore.
place.
He doesn't have it anymore in this movie. He says with Paradox, it's like, oh, that was like years ago. I destroyed it. Like apparently they say he destroyed it after he revived people.
Right, but when he has that,
you mean the pad thing?
The
yeah,
pad
I guess
thing.
that
Does it
technically
travel through time, or does it hop the universes?
it's
I think
the
it's
same
both,
thing.
man.
it's
Yeah,
the fucking
like,
same thing. They go like through to different times with this fucking thing. So you're right. Yeah, absolutely. He could have gone to a different timeline on the same Logan and just got him as well if he really wanted to. Yeah,
yep.
it's the thing. The world building is completely fucked. It's like irreparably fucked. Like I don't know how you would repair it without a reset. I don't think it's possible. It's been so utterly destroyed throughout the movies because there's so many projects that came out where they just piled something else on and then they just pretend nothing before them came. Fucking look at Secret Invasion. What a fucking disaster this is. Like,
man, I forgot about Secret Invasion.
There's a million Skrulls on Earth now. It's like, okay, first of all, logistically, how the fuck did they make that happen? Two, they found so many people to just replace. It's like, oh god, that's what they do. They just get these projects and then they just do their thing and just pretend there's nothing before they have to take into consideration, even though there's like a shit ton. I keep saying it. If for some reason anyone like, here's $300 million, make a Marvel movie, Metal. It's like, oh, give me 6 months so I can watch everything you've put out ever, or at least the necessary resources that are important to this kind of thing, so I can get a grasp of how the world building is currently at. And then I come back after 6 months, like, this is impossible. It doesn't matter what I do; it's gonna break something.
Yeah. 100%, dude. It's something I always say about the MCU. The world building is pretty much fucked at this point. You cannot, even if genuinely, if you give us an objectively 10 out of 10 movie, 10 out of 10 Avengers, Secret Wars, Avengers, Doomsday, and all that stuff, as long as it's built on this very wonky foundation that they've established during, well, I would say it started with Endgame, and right after that, as long as you're building it on this very wonky foundation, nothing is going to make sense, and you can always bring it back to that as a critique, even if the movie is really good. So need a full-blown reset. Just say that phases 4 and 5 never existed. Just say that Endgame was there, and that was like the last thing involving time travel and multiverses and all that stuff. The rest, just make it collapse. Done. You know, and they probably can write it out. Even if the writing out of even if they do it and it's kind of really weird the way that they do it, people will just be happy and be like, hey, who gives a shit? At least all of this doesn't need to make sense anymore. All of this is gone and we can start fresh.
I mean, I really don't like the state of it now, but part of me thinks it was just inevitable because, like, as Marvel Studios grows as like a film production company, eventually, like, they have all this like cosmic stuff in the Marvel lore that they're gonna want to eventually bring in. And I think this started, I think one of the earliest elements that was brought in that started all this was Doctor Strange. As soon as you have somebody like that who can like open portals and has like a time stone and can potentially reverse time, like successive films and filmmakers are gonna like grab onto those elements and be like, okay, what else can we do with this? And then I think compared to like comic book writers, which I think is a much more closed network, I could be wrong about that. When it comes to like film, like these companies are recruiting all sorts of people. A lot of them, they don't even know anything about Marvel. Sometimes they deliberately pick people who don't know anything about Marvel or Star Wars or whatever for a fresh perspective, which I think is totally fucking stupid. But they'll bring them in, and then it's just like, well, okay, well Doctor Strange is a thing, portals is a thing. We're going to space now. There's big purple Thanos monsters. We can do fucking anything now. And then this just seems like a natural part of the process where it's just like people get too carried away with the cosmic stuff, and now everyone
is doing the cosmic stuff. Like no one was doing just like hey, here's the villain that wants to destroy the city. Let's take Captain America and let him deal with it and show that we actually care about the humans that are around on Earth still. But we all like everything has been like, oh, the universal, blah blah blah. And then the ones that are kind of grounded, like She-Hulk, then they have like the fourth wall thing where they go with the Feige bot or whatever it was.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then,
they go through Disney Plus and everything. Oh,
yeah,
God.
and then it's like complete. And then the show itself is completely bullshit as well. Like it's completely bad and badly written. God, that show sucked as well.
That's what I hated about the WandaVision show. That its finale was, spectacle, energy blasts. It lost that kind of tense, horror vibe to it. Like that kind of like, what's going on here? Are they trapped in this television screen? And just to kind of like this cosmic kind of battle all the time, and it's always the stakes,
Yeah, and I feel like one of the only Marvel, I guess, products to come out recently that did do the multiverse thing, but managed to remain quite intimate in nature, because even though it was talking about the end of the multiverse and all that stuff, was No Way Home. Even though I think the first half of the movie is trash, I do think that the last half, kind of keeping it nice and self-contained to the Spider-Man at all, like in general, just having Doctor Strange spout that one line of, oh, they're all coming. Like, dude, we know that no one's coming. You're going to close the portal. But at least keeping it self-contained, that was what was good, because they worked on the characters. And that's what I think it's missing from Deadpool and Wolverine. It's like, even though it's self-contained, they didn't really work on redeeming the Wolverine that we have. It's kind of just, he's an alcoholic. Halfway through the movie, he gets a pep talk from Daphne Keane. And then he's like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to fight again. Okay. I know. And it kind of glosses over really, really, really good things to work with. It glosses over the fact that he wears his suit because that's what like they wanted him to wear. That's what Scott wanted him to wear, and everyone got killed. He deems that it's his fault. And after that, he killed innocent people, which we don't know if they were all men, women, or children. He just says that he went on a rampage and killed innocents. And that's the reason why humans started to hate mutants so much more, because he went on a killing rampage. And it's like, you have so much stuff to work with just with that one phrase alone. And it's never brought up once again, ever.
But they were too busy pointing out that he is the worst ever Wolverine, which was like, he's not even close. You have like unlimited Wolverines out there. There's probably someone who did the Holocaust, like a Holocaust Wolverine somewhere. Like,
is there not a Wolverine out there that's totally homicidal with no moral compass and just kills everyone he sees? You know, like that would be the worst Wolverine, surely.
Yeah, but this one, he's like, he went out on a binge one night because and didn't want to wear the suit, and then he comes back and some humans went mutant hunting and killed all of the X-Men in the building, which I'm already like, I'm not even sure how that's exactly going to work. Mark said they might have had Sentinels, but I'm not sure what timeline we're looking at here. I have no idea. I don't know, but just the idea that they
Jean should be able to kill them all in self-defense.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are those humans even like? It just seems like Deus Ex Machina. The team gets killed, you know.
Yeah.
So we don't
Yeah,
have
it's
to
like, well,
mention them or show them. Yeah.
Do they kill the mutants in their sleep or something? I mean, Storm can just make a tornado that sucks all the humans up. Like, there's a lot of things they could do, you know?
Yeah, what happens when a toad gets hit by lightning? It's like, all right, cool. that's the reason why they killed Storm. They're like, yeah, fuck it, we don't want your one-liners.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, even Wolverine, you know, go into a bar. Still, that story feels just flimsy. Like we literally just like listen to his story, his sad story, and I really thought there'd be something more to it. It just all of it seemed really bare bones.
Because here's the thing: if you've seen the trailer scenes, you've seen all the character development, basically.
Yep.
There's nothing. There's maybe a line more or two, but if you've seen the trailer where he goes like, "Oh, they don't like me here," that's how the scene ends with Deadpool. Basically, it's like, "Oh yeah, in my universe, I don't mean anything. Like I'm not a hero." Like you basically had the whole conversation in the trailers, and that's all you get.
Yep.
And to expand on that a little bit regarding the marketing angle of this film, I thought they showed way too much. Like they put way too much material out there.
See, I was thinking like they're only probably showing a little bit in the trailers. Like they're holding back something big. No, not really. They pretty much showed everything in the trailers.
The only thing that wasn't in the trailers were the cameos. That was it.
Yep.
Yeah. One thing I liked, by the way, was Wolverine absolutely shredding Deadpool's ass in the car. Like he gives him like a proper talking to.
Yeah,
and,
it's very intense.
This is my favorite scene. Yeah,
it's probably one of the best. Merciless. He didn't even get his claws out, and he just absolutely murdered him. So there are Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds. Obviously, their chemistry is fantastic.
Yeah,
throughout the film, and it's such a shame that there's barely anything to it. Again, like what you guys said with Hugh Jackman, his story just that's all you could come up with, really. I don't know.
I mean,
Again,
I don't want it to be as good, like better than Logan. I'm not asking for his story to be better than Logan. I'm just asking for his story to be compelling. That's it. And I don't think his story was compelling. He had a few monologues where he really sold the emotion. That 100% Hugh Jackman through and through. But the character himself, I don't find his arc compelling at all, because it's something that you've seen time and time again, and they didn't really do anything to flesh it out.
Yeah, because no one is really talking. Go ahead.
No, you go, please.
Okay, because they don't really have anyone talk except like X-23 shortly talking to him. It's like, no, you're actually like a good man. I think it would have been what they could have done. I just thought about this. Maybe you can make that work. Maybe have Nicepool be like a permanent thing in that movie, like he's with them, and he's like the contrapoint to both Deadpool and Wolverine's like bad thoughts, like, oh, I need to be someone, I need to do this, and Wolverine goes like, I killed everyone. He's like, well, that's not your fault. Like maybe have like some back and forth going here. They're kind of similar to Puss in Boots 2 with the little dog. Where he's like constantly like, oh no, it's all good. Like you could have made something work with this, because you need like an opposition to how these two work, because they're kind of similar in the way they operate and talk about things and go through things in their head. So you probably needed someone extra in there to like kind of oppose this kind of
the dynamic,
dynamics. And then you could like go there and have like, because there's like plenty of things where they had to go from point A to B, like in the car, where they had some conversations about these things, and then maybe you can build on this, and then maybe you can still have your fucking X-23 talk where she's just like, hey, in my universe, the Logan guy, he was like really cool, and it's because of him I live. But it's also weird because they kind of pretend like she's like the same X-23 that we know from the Logan movie.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because then that means that universe doesn't exist anymore because she's here now. So that's another problem you can probably go on to. But yeah, you can do something to make this thing go. Same with the cameos, as you already said. It's like, yeah, they're there. They go like, some motherfuckers still want to skate ice.
I skate uphill.
It's like, okay, yeah, I don't even think that works here in this scenario. But you said the line that everybody liked, so good job. You did a little fighting, and they go on to say like these things like, oh, we're gonna have like our ending here finally. We can have our ending, and then obviously the joke with Gambit is that he never really had a movie, so it's like, yeah, or all the heroes like could have met or something. And it's like, what ending do you have? You just had some lines, then you had like a fight. Like that's like bottom of the barrel. It's like one step over, like one step on top from just being in the background. Like you get to say some lines, and then you go there. It's like, oh, I guess you're at bottom of the barrel, but it doesn't really mean anything. They didn't do anything with this. Like, it's like,
yeah. I want to quickly touch on Deadpool as well, even though I know I'm wearing the hat. Not a fan of Deadpool. I found his motivation to be weird too. So he went to the Avengers timeline. He did a job interview.
Yep.
He got rejected. He got a midlife crisis from that. And now throughout the movie, he's just trying to kind of piece it together. And it's just like, hang on. You were actually planning on joining the Avengers. Like,
yeah, I don't buy it.
You weren't joking around.
That Deadpool from Deadpool 1 and 2, he would not go and join the Avengers.
Yep.
No way.
I thought that it was a joke. I didn't know it was serious.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because this interview where he gets rejected, breaks him so much. So it's kind of funny because he goes to the sacred timeline in 2018 to talk to Tony Stark because he's still alive at that point. But he's not there because there's like a joke. It's like, he doesn't do this anymore. It's like cameos, like no interviews. Like, And it's like, oh man, that sucks. And then he gets so destroyed by this that he breaks up with Vanessa, who he revived, by the way, and becomes a car salesman. It's like, what?
Yep. Yeah, throughout 6 years, it basically just ends his entire life because
and the only reason he comes back with Vanessa is like, I saved the multiverse. Like, oh yeah, now I'm horny for you again.
Yeah, that's even the worst part too. It's like, yeah, all right, cool. Now you're killing people. Nah, I'm into you. All right, let's have sex. And like one of the worst aspects is the fact that his motivation goes completely against, as you said, what happens in Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2, it was him not wanting to join the X-Force. Even the first Deadpool movie was him not wanting to join the X-Men. And it's like, yeah, so he didn't want to do all of that, but now he wants to join the Avengers because he sees the Avengers as this massive galaxy-saving troop. And even then, it's like, how do you even know about the Avengers? Because you were time-hopping in your I guess 1005 universe, not in the 616 universe. So it's like, are we just supposed to assume that he knows about the Avengers because he's Deadpool and he can break the fourth wall? You know,
probably,
I don't know.
Like, so many decisions are made based on like, it'll be funny. Fuck it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
He,
It's so paper thin. It's
like
so no substance whatsoever.
He wants to be an Avenger and he can't, so he has to go completely the other direction and get a pathetic job, or I think what he might consider pathetic is, you know, relatively, as being a used car salesman. I'm not shitting on anybody who actually sells cars, but it's just like that. There's obviously that comedic contrast. But it's like the character Wade Wilson, I mean, he's like an ex-special forces operative, right? Like, couldn't you have gotten like a, you know, this is a celebrity bodyguard or something? You could have done that. Like a lot of actual special forces guys get jobs like that. Why couldn't, if you want to have an exciting job that sometimes potentially involves combat, why not just do that? But no, they have to like go to the most like minute, you know, laughable job in contrast possible just for the joke.
I mean, because Metal was earlier throwing hypotheticals. Imagine this. Deadpool, at the beginning of the movie, doing Deadpool things, doing Deadpool mercenary things. Imagine one day he kills someone completely innocent, just a bystander in the street. Maybe he was blowing something up, doing something cool, and he feels incredibly guilty about that. So he puts down the costume, he quits, He takes a real hard look at everything he has. He gets the car salesman job, etc., etc. Now he meets this Wolverine, who's also killed innocent people. Look at that. You have two things that they can connect with.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to provide you some substance, but they do nothing. It's just like, oh, it's Deadpool and Wolverine. Have them have some dialogue together and fight together. That's all they ever talk about, and it's so
it's
irritating.
Just, oh, have fun. It's a buddy comedy movie. That's pretty much it. You don't really need anything else. And it's like, no, I mean, even just in comparison to Bad Boys for Life, no, Bad Boys, what the fuck, Ride or Die. Yeah, that's what it was called. I was like, it's Bad Boys 4. They could have called it Bad Boys for Life, man. But so Bad Boys Ride or Die, it's a buddy comedy movie. Came out this year. You can compare it to Deadpool and Wolverine. That one, from the first, I think, 10 minutes of the movie, establishes a proper arc that Mike Lowry has to go through. And you're like, all right, this is where we're following him. And you see that Martin Lawrence's character is gonna be his anchor point, trying to just get these guys through this arc. And it's like, yeah, this is something that they established at the beginning, and at the end of the movie, with all they've gone through, they've changed. It's a buddy comedy movie. They still have the nice action elements, all the comedy elements, everything is there. But here it's like, yeah, as not Kevin Feige says, who needs plot when you have cameos? All those cameos setting up stuff is taking away from character moments that we can have. That's exactly it. And even to bounce back on Metal, what you said about having nice Deadpool as an anchor point there to kind of mix up their dynamic. I think that one of the cameos, instead of bringing back Blade, they should have brought a version of Scott, a good version of Scott, the leader of the X-Men, for Wolverine to really see, like, oh man, you're dead because of me. And to have Scott and him have a kind of conversation, I think that would be way more impactful than X-23, because in this movie, he doesn't even know who X-23 is. So it's just like, oh, okay, cool. But if you know Scott, someone that you know is dead because of you, even if it's not this version, you know that he can bring you out of the depths and make you want to redeem yourself. So it's like, so many missed
It could be something simple as like a, devil and angel mechanic, where it could just be suggested that it's in his mind. One person in his life was the really good person, one person in his life is just the really bad, and he's just thinking out stuff. There's loads of things he could do, loads. But again, it's just like, oh, let's do this movie, a couple of friends. And it's a shame, really, because I feel like this had a lot of potential. This could have easily rivaled No Way Home. I think No Way Home, again, is a fantastic comparison point, and I think No Way Home did this better, because No Way Home, like, whoever wrote that, I'm pretty sure John Watts said the script was still being written when it was being filmed, which is amazing piece of trivia. And they remembered, like, all the Andrew Garfield scenes. Like, what did they remember about Andrew Garfield? Okay, he lost Gwen in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and they continued that arc in the movie, which is just fantastic. They didn't give us a lot of details on Toby, but you do get a sense from him that he's probably the most experienced, most wisest of the three.
Yeah.
And yeah, him just teaching Peter not to kill in a rage. That arc of him stopping the glider for once rather than letting the glider pierce the Green Goblin. It's like poetry. It rhymes. Is there any poetry in this? No.
One of the reasons I think that film worked, despite all its multiverse stuff, is that it ended with a sense of consequence for Peter.
Yeah.
He paid a price for a really dumb decision, and Doctor Strange is equally fucking dumb for even allowing it to happen. But at the end of it, you get a sense of, like, this all meant something. I mean, not only
sacrificed his friends.
Yeah, it was a sacrifice for Peter, and it also laid the groundwork potentially for a new string of Spider-Man movies that don't have to deal with the multiverse stuff, where it's just like is just closed within the Spider-Man universe, where he probably potentially fights Venom or whoever, right?
Kingpin.
The neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. The ending of No Way Home is just it's just like an ideal red carpet for a string of movies like that.
Yeah,
You know?
totally agree.
Now-
And plus, it has a good ending for the characters that it brought back. Like, look at what did Deadpool and Wolverine do for Blade? Didn't do anything to add to his legacy. Like, he says at the end, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this for legacy." Like, motherfucker, what are you talking about, man? You already have your legacy. Are you trying to redeem yourself from Blade Trinity? I don't know what type of legacy you're talking about.
Yeah.
Even Elektra, it's kind of like Elektra. It's nice because you see her actually trying to have a small moment, because let's face it, her movie was ass. But then Gambit is just like, all right, we have him because you guys have always wanted to see Channing Tatum. It's the same thing as
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness, where they bring in John Krasinski as Reed Richards. Oh yeah, I'm the smartest man alive. Boop, gets his head popped.
Spaghetti.
Yeah. And then he
Makes
went
me-
spaghetti.
Makes me think about the end of this movie. Like, is Wolverine just fine now in this universe?
Yep. Incursions
that-
don't exist anymore. We forgot about those. Because X-23 gets
Ah.
brought to Deadpool's universe too. She's on the table at the end, just hanging out.
I mean, I guess
Like,
incursions aren't a factor because the TVA did them or something. I don't even know.
Well, it's great because their anchor being died. Which, by the way, anchor being as a concept, get the fuck out of here. I don't.
Yeah.
Pile some more mechanics on top of everything. It's gonna work out fantastically.
Mhm.
It's like, hey, what's without this? And then B-15 is like, whatever you did, it's fine now.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on. Like that's what she says. It's like, oh, whatever you did, what you did here, you not only repaired it, you made it thrive again. Like your universe is actually fine now, so everyone is allowed to stay here. It's like, okay, what's with Logan's universe that he got ripped out of? Is that gonna die now? Possibly, maybe.
The whole universe switching, right? This isn't just pack your bags. We're going to Spain or a nice European holiday. This is a whole freaking
Yeah.
universe. There's a lot to chew in there. Like, did JFK die in this universe? Is there still Coke in the Coca-Cola bottles? You know, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a bunch of stuff might be incredibly different. There's a
I
lot
mean, you've seen in Multiverse of Madness how creative they get. It's like, oh, red is green and green is red on the lights. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's like
Everyone wears a hat. Wow.
Oh.
What a crazy, wacky universe.
It's stupid.
it sucks so bad, dude.
Like,
And then they
literally,
step onto memory. No, I'm not gonna start with memory.
Let's not go there.
no way home. Literally, they make like fun of each other with their villains. I'm pretty sure, like Toby
you've
says,
been to
"Oh, I
Spain."
fought an alien before," and it's
Yeah.
just like Andrew is like, "I want to fight an alien out of space."
It's like I fought a giant lizard. Oh, really? What the fuck? Yeah, it's nice, you know. It's actually respecting their respective character arcs before they came into No Way Home. So it's just
yeah, and they ask like,
it's
"What's
good
the
work.
Avengers?" You know, there's
Mhm.
there's fun in universes being different. You know,
Yep.
One thing I really didn't like about Deadpool and Wolverine is establishing that the Logan in the Logan movie universe shouldn't have died, because that just ruins his sacrifice. Like,
Okay.
that's something I can't get past. I mean,
I
there's other
think-
things I can forgive, but
yeah,
that just rubbed
right.
me wrong.
This whole anchor being the
'Cause he was an
universe is
anchor being, yeah.
decaying. Yeah, okay. I think I know what their intention was, because we're thinking about like we're looking at it on the surface, because they said like this anchor being they died, so the universe is slowly rotting away. I think that's like their metaphor for Fox being
Yeah.
bought off, and they wanted kind of like an in-universe story to kind of justify that. Oh, so the most notable, the most popular character has retired, therefore we don't really need to push this universe anymore, and this reflects the in-universe story. The thing is, it doesn't quite work, because then, like you said, you're implying that, oh, was Logan not supposed to die then? Was he never supposed to retire for this universe, this whole freaking universe?
How many other universes are currently dying because their anchor being died? I mean, dude, that's so funny to think about. Like, now that I think even more about it, there's the TVA has workplaces just for people to watch universes die, because the whole thing with Paradox was like, oh, I was assigned to watch over this universe dying over the next 2,000 years, 10,000 years or something. It's like they have like whole workforces just looking at universes dying, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah. And Logan was a domino effect.
The thing with the anchor being dying is saved by, I mean, I understand that metaphor argument. I do. And I do respect it to a degree. Plus, there's just also like what you're using Deadpool and Wolverine as like set up for actual canon. Like, come on, we're fucking around. Like, nothing means anything in this stupid fucking movie. It's just like, you can easily pretend that Deadpool and Wolverine was never made, and it actually just, Logan's arc ended actually with Logan. Like, it's easy enough for me to like enjoy things in isolation. It doesn't bother me that much, but it just, that was a thing in the movie. Like, when I watched it and I heard that part, I was just like,
I mean, do you think that the anchor being thing is like, oh, you have an anchor, now this person dies, but there's a possibility of another person being so, I guess, heroic and sacrificial that he eventually becomes the other anchor or something like that? I don't even know if you can transfer anchor beings, because I don't remember what happens at the end if they transfer anchor beings, or if they just say, oh, it's fixed now.
Well, they just
Plus,
say
what a ridiculous fucking coincidence that he is the anchor being of that entire universe.
Yeah.
But it's a joke in the movie. It's another joke, because it's
the
all
hell
jokes. Nothing
It's
means
weird if
anything,
you just
it's
look at
jokes.
just from a normal evolution type of thingy, like how like the world starts to exist in universes. Like at some point there was like nothing, so there was no anchor being. So is it immediately dying instantly every time?
Yep.
Like when does the anchor being start to exist? Like, okay, now we have an Earth, and now there's the first human. Are you the anchor being now? Because you're gonna be dead in like 20 years because you have like a stick and there's a lion over there. It's like,
Yep.
what are you gonna do?
It's like
And then-
this entire universe depends on one person. So if this one person dies, even if you didn't do anything bad in your life, it's just like, yeah, fuck it, you're dying, man. That's pretty much it.
I
Done.
suppose the MCU's anchor being was Tony Stark then.
Oh. Yep.
What a great way to
What's
reboot.
our universe? Is Jesus? I don't know. How does the universe dictate who's the anchor being? Oh, the one that makes the most amount of money. Oh, okay.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. That's what I
One of
mean.
the
Like, the more you
reasons-
think about this movie, or just MCU stuff in general, it just keeps breaking apart even more.
Yeah. Well, it's on that. One of the reasons I overall like this movie is that before Deadpool and Wolverine, Marvel Disney is already in shambles.
Yep.
And Ryan Reynolds, through his Deadpool character, took the opportunity to just point and laugh at it and be like, look how fucking shit everything is. Let's have fun with this. Who cares? Like, all the rules thrown out the window. Let's just have fun with this and make a movie that people are going to enjoy. I mean, that's just, you can enjoy it on that level, I think, and I did.
Yeah. Now, do you guys think that the reason why the movie was the script itself was so lackluster in terms of character and in terms of plot is because there were kind of too many cooks in the kitchen? Because if you look at the track record, Deadpool 1 had 2 writers. Deadpool 2 had the same 2 writers and Ryan Reynolds. And this one has, I think, 5 writers, one of which was a writer on She-Hulk, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, I don't know.
That's like a thing that happens everywhere. I think wasn't the Batman games, like the Arkham games, where they went from like 2 writers to 5 to 10 to 15 or something, and they get like worse and worse every time, I think. It's like you don't need that many writers.
Yeah, so there's 7 writers for Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's surprisingly little by today's standards, I think.
It made by committee at this point.
No.
Man,
No
Yes.
wonder.
I don't know, man.
At
I
the
think
very
it's
least,
more
multiple
people.
writers, they need to be really tightly knit and on the same page when it comes to the project. Like, to
Otherwise, this
thoroughly
one leads in
understand
this
each other's
direction.
perspectives and what they're trying to do. So if you give it to a bunch of writers who are totally like different and see the project in a different way, then it becomes a mess.
Yeah, dude, like one of the writers, again, just following the usual Marvel portfolio since the end, like since Endgames, like wrote for Robot Chicken and is now writing for Marvel. It's like, I don't know why they're getting. It's so weird, man. All of these guys have all written for Robot Chicken, and then they're just hired by Marvel. So,
and Rick and Morty. Like they wrote a line for Rick and Morty. It's like, oh wow, he's $300,000. Make a movie. It's like,
okay. Wubba lubba dub dub. That's it. That's all the experience you need, man. So weird. Oh man.
Wouldn't they prioritize picking writers out of the comic book writer pool instead of just reaching out to fucking Robot Chicken or people who have no experience with the franchise?
Yeah, or at least have someone on the team that is knowledgeable about comic hero stuff, I mean, I don't want them to like just copy and paste all the comic books. Like, I mean, they could. There's good stuff out there, but you want someone who knows stuff about. It's like, hey, it's like, this character would probably do this because the characters are mostly still knit the same, like in the comics for the most part, unless they want to go for like something completely different, which they can do if done well, of course.
Writing for screenplays too is a substantially different format than writing for comic books. Like you got to have that particular skill set to do that well. Yeah,
this is also the first Deadpool movie that the director helped write as well, because Sean Levy has a writing credit in this one. Now, I don't know if the extent of the writing credits for him and Ryan Reynolds is just they provided a lot of the humor, so that was pretty much it, but they didn't really participate in the plot that much or actual dialogue. It was kind of just the humor, so they gave them a writing credit. But the other writers, the biggest thing that they had done before this was the Bob's Burgers movie in 2022, and that was pretty much it. That's all that they have. So
I cannot recommend enough hiring good comic writers, maybe not modern day ones.
Don't hire Paul Feig.
Yeah,
with comic book writing, everything's constantly open-ended and episodic. But with screenplays, it's just like you got 120 pages to tell something that's closed at the end and satisfactory.
Yep.
There was a game, Spider-Man: Edge of Time, and its plot was really stupid. Its world was really stupid. It constantly took place inside of like science buildings, so you can never actually go outside in the city and swing as Spider-Man. All sorts of time travel shenanigans in it, kind of nonsensical. But the interactions between Spider-Man 2099 and the regular Spider-Man were absolutely fantastic. And it's what made the game really enjoyable. And what do you know? When you look into who wrote it, it was actually people who are familiar with these characters, people who wrote comics for these two. And yeah, you can feel that chemistry in there. And I don't get that in any Marvel movie these days. There's no, even though the actors had chemistry, writing-wise, it's just not much there.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why people are happy that the Russos are back, because they know that the Russos really love comics, especially Marvel comics. So I think that's also one of the factors where people think, all right, these guys actually know their stuff. We know that they know their stuff. So they could get more creative freedom to write what they want to now that Marvel is kind of like on the edge of a cliff. They're just hanging at this point. So maybe the Russos can pick them back up. Maybe they'll give them a lot more liberty to write as they wish.
They did say they love Secret Wars and would love to do it. And that they really like the black suit Spider-Man. That's their favorite Spider-Man suit. So I'm just like wondering.
I haven't seen them credited as writers yet. I don't know if they will be involved in the writing process. That could change going forward. They'll decide like, hey, we would like a hand in this.
No doubt in my mind for Secret Wars they're going to have a black suit Spider-Man. Like no doubt in my mind. They really like it that much. That was like the first debut of the black suit Spider-Man. So
I think at the very least, the Russos can effectively direct whatever Disney gives them.
Yep.
Like I think they've established that they're very good at that. I thought they did a really good job on Infinity War, and Endgame has its issues, but again, I thought it was an impressive directorial piece of work from them.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's a huge admission of defeat. Like, okay, we don't know what we're doing. We're getting the guys who have a really successful track record. We thought we thought Michael Waldron would save the Avengers movies, but no, it really goes to show that they know they're sinking, and they need something.
No.
So yeah, I'm just wondering what is going to be like. What did you guys think, by the way, of like the post-credit scene, like the mid-credit scene of the? I guess, I think it was like a Fox send-off, but you could have done a nice Fox send-off if the movie was any good, I suppose.
I quite like that, to be honest. I mean, because they were shitting on Fox. I mean, you have that shot where Deadpool headbutts the camera and says, "Suck it, Fox." You have the 20th Century Fox logo half buried in the dirt.
In the void.
Like, it to balance it out, I like that it had that little montage paying respect to all the filmmaking energy and effort and talent that went into those old X-Men movies, because I like them. And I think they're quite... I mean, Last Stand is a bit wobbly for me, but X-Men and X2
X2
really
is one of my
enjoyed.
personal favorites, dude. I was actually happy to see Pyro in this movie because I love him in X2. Like, growing up and watching X2, I was like, dude, this man is so cool. And he probably has one of my favorite scenes in X2 in his neighborhood. I just think it's really, really cool. But I think it's just a nice way to show the fans, like, hey, look at this BTS footage and look at what came before. That is paving the way. That had actually paved the way for all the superhero stuff. Because let's face it, man, the X-Men movies were kind of what made proper superhero stuff mainstream. Blade had done it, but Blade didn't make it mega mainstream because Blade was kind of self-contained, you know. X-Men was really where you had superhero antics stuff, and it's like, yeah, everyone loved this.
Yeah, I think part of the vibe too, the montage at the end, it was just, it's like a round of applause for Hugh Jackman, everybody, you know, because he's been with this character for a long time and he's done a really fucking good job with it, you know. And this was his last hurrah. Just like, let's just applaud this guy for like decades of work.
I get the feeling it's not going to be like, if they left him alive, I don't think that's the last hurrah.
Yeah, Marvel will be using you till you're 90 years old, man.
No.
Yep.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Hugh Jackman is at an age where he might actually build like I think Wolverine is such an energy demanding character.
Yeah,
you know, unlike Robert Downey playing Dr.Doom, I think a lot of him is just going to be sitting in a chair doing or floating around doing CGI things that don't really involve exertion, physical.
How old is Henry Cavill?
Henry Cavill?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably in his late 30s or
he's 41.
Oh,
41.
wow.
Okay.
And Hugh Jackman is what, like 60?
50.
55,
No,
I think.
I think 57.
55.
Oh. I mean, yeah, he's not too
Would
bad,
it
man.
be sensible to cast Henry Cavill?
Okay, fine, I'll do it. Fine, okay, I'll do it. Fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to say it. But...
I think the biggest issue with Hugh Jackman, if he wants to continue pushing as Wolverine, is the fact that he has to be in tip-top shape. And we know that these guys are pumping some juices, man. They got that's the special Marvel cocktail, and I don't know how old he can be taking that cocktail to be at the physique that he needs to be for what I guess 4 or 5 months of shooting, maybe more, maybe less. So I just don't think that for him, especially, I think Hugh Jackman has had cancer at some point as well. So I know that like health issues for him,
I think, or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, he had cancer at one point. So I think that, him and his health, he will prioritize his health for sure. So I don't think that he's going to come back. He may come back for a cameo or something. Yeah, I think a cameo, but that's pretty much it. I don't see him doing a full movie again, because he had the interview on Hot Ones where he said that the reason he did this movie was because he actually really, really wanted to make a Wolverine buddy movie, but never actually knew who it could be with until he saw Deadpool. And he said that it was just a couple of days after he had announced his retirement. So he was really happy to be able to do just this one buddy cop, like buddy movie with Deadpool. And that was kind of a dream of his. And it was like, plus doing it with Ryan Reynolds which is his friend in real life. It was just really good. And I think that that's an experience that he just want to cherish and not trying to reproduce again just out of money, you know?
Yes, that was a really nice thing to hear, because I originally suspected that Ryan Reynolds called Hugh Jackman, and Hugh was just like, "Ugh, all right." But it was actually Hugh that called him. Like, I really want to be a part of this. I mean, not only because I want to see these two characters together, because I think they have great chemistry, but he just wanted to work with Ryan because he figured he'd have a lot of fun on set. And I find that really respectable. Yeah.
Okay. And on that note, I think we'll be wrapping up here. I did say like 90 minutes. Thank you everyone for watching. I guess we can do outros step by step. And yeah, Wolverine and Deadpool. Pretty disappointing.
It's a movie. It's one of the movies ever.
Yeah, of all time.
Yeah. What are your guys like closing thoughts? Anything you want to add on additionally?
Watch
It's
Deadpool
fun.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Actually, because I rewatched them and actually got the physical copy. Actually, let me grab that because it's actually kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I got my
While he's away.
hands on.
Or sorry, go ahead.
Hands on this version.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and it actually has like it has a comic in it. There's like a small
Cool.
comic in it. It's like here.
This is actually really cool.
Deadpool and
That's
Cable,
badass,
split
yeah.
second. It's in German, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. And yeah, it's like some behind the scenes like cards and stuff.
Mm.
So it's actually kind of cool. I was surprised when I was like, oh, let me get the Blu-rays on that because I really like those movies. And it's like, oh shit, there's just like a special one. It was just like $30. Like, it wasn't even expensive.
A proper box set, man.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, pretty cool. There's like 2 small posters in there as well. I'll just leave as it is, but yeah, it's pretty neat.
Very nice.
I like those. But yeah, I don't know. It's a fun cinema experience, I guess. I mean, I can't deny it. As much as I hate the writing and everything, it still made me laugh in a lot of places. I can't get this fucking thing back on here.
It's definitely not the worst in terms of superhero stuff.
It's
guess.
an ultra, perhaps too meta, fun time at surface level time at the movies.
The thing is, it's so shittily written that I hesitate to actually recommend it to people,
Yeah.
even though I know they're gonna have a good time with it. I don't know. It's gonna make a shit ton of money, and I'm just afraid they're gonna take more wrong ideas from that. It's like, oh, if we just make it very funny and entertaining and meta jokes, it's gonna be great. But yeah, I don't know. I guess those are my thoughts. It's definitely doesn't hold up on a rewatch when you, especially for people like us who like cover it or things like this, or are more critical of movies, I guess. It does not hold up. Like I started watching it, was like, ooh.
Yep.
No bueno.
I'm not mad, just disappointed.
Yeah, it's one of those. I probably rewatch it in the theater if I know that it's going to be a packed theater and just to have an experience. But if it comes out on digital, I know that I'm probably just going to watch the fight scenes, a fight scene compilation, and that's pretty much it. I'm probably not going to watch the entirety of the movie again.
John?
Yeah, just I actually would probably watch this movie all the way through again. I enjoy it just enough to sort of be able to rewatch it on a surface level. For considering its core of just basically doing a buddy comedy road trip movie, like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was one of their inspirations for this. Like, they could have done so much more with that core Deadpool and Wolverine relationship. Like Metal and I were talking yesterday about the diner scene. That could have been. I mean, that movie has pacing problems. A bunch of scenes are way too long. But if you're gonna make a long scene, have it be that one where the two characters just dig into each other for like 10 minutes even. Like I would probably actually enjoy that. A lot of wasted potential there, but it's enjoyable. I found it enjoyable.
I feel like there's gotta be some like more footage to it. There's gotta be stuff they cut out. So
Wait for
maybe
the director's cut, man. They'll
Yeah.
probably have that.
I mean, there was
Deadpool 2 had a super duper cut. That's what they
Yep.
call it. So there's a chance that's gonna be there at some point.
I might give that a watch, but as it stands, I mean, I was a sucker and I watched the extended No Way Home, even though we had like five maybe 6 minutes extra footage. Again,
I did the same. Yeah.
No Way Home is king in terms of multiverse stories, which is a surprise, really, because I guess Spider-Man is a bit of a weird one when it comes to multiverse stuff. I get the feeling that multiverse works least with Spider-Man. It should work for someone like Doctor Strange or Deadpool, who's got the meta humor, but no, they're not.
Yeah, it should work with larger than life characters, not your friendly neighborhood dude. That's kind of it.
Well, it's funny because everything Spider-Man now just seems to be like multiple Spider-Man running around.
Yes,
right.
It's like, okay, let's just do one Spider-Man now. Okay, we've done enough of the million Spider-Man thing.
Yep. All right. And on that bombshell, we'll be signing off. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. You guys can subscribe, follow on Twitter, or any of that stuff in the description below. I've put everyone's links in there. And yeah, thank you for sticking with us. I'll see you guys. When will I see you guys next? I'll probably definitely do a stream on Joker 2. That's another most anticipated movie of the year for me, at least. So I know I'm going to probably be assembling a big stream for that. And yeah, I don't have any ideas for any meme videos specifically, but again, if you guys have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below or just tweet at me. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Adios.
See you around. Bye bye.